Similarly to our times, Osler discusses the rapid changes in the teaching of medicine and how the old gives way to the new. He mentions how he is in favour of such changes, as the old professors felt medicine could be taught within 2 years, and he also felt that the private medical schools flourishing at the times in North America were very poorly regulated. He credits the changes brought about to the high ideals that the profession soon took on, as well as the awareness and appreciation of the public to physicians who are better educated. He lamented that in Hesse, in Germany, there were 3 universities there alone with a fully paid faculty, but none of such ilk was present in the United States at the time. And he describes this as being similar to wheat and meat, being easy to cultivate, but that great minds take a lot longer and require a great deal of culture to do so. In terms of medical schools, he felt that the teachers present there should have 3 qualities: enthusiasm, a thorough knowledge of their field, and a sense of obligation. But for students themselves, he describes some interesting virtues which he felt, if attained, would cause a great deal of change within them in the way they approached the profession. Firstly, the art of detachment. So one must separate themselves from idleness and pleasure and devote themselves a lot to their art. He describes how at the time students were coming from towns and villages to cities and being taken aback by the pleasures that were present there. Secondly, he advocates something called the virtue of method, ordering one's work and time for study, and this then being able to help one continue with their studies and help them during the times of chaos as a physician. The other aspect of virtue of method is around medicine being part science and part art. This is a time when people were collecting more and more facts about their work and using the data diligently to improve our understanding of medicine and the different disciplines therein. Third quality details is something called the quality of thoroughness. It is impossible to know all the branches of medicine, unfortunately, but to know the principles and the basis behind these is very important. He advocates that students try and trod the path of the great masters and to see how they came to their conclusions, as in time as one practices medicine, there may well be opportunities for this to improve one's own practice, but also improve the work of medicine as a whole. But if the skills to discern these are not present, I'm sure it'll be more challenging. But lastly, he details grace of humility. We are still human, and he talks about his age being one of aggressive self-assertion, which we may erroneously think of as being one of our time, given our obsession with the self, as well as issues that maybe the older generation maybe feel around the ego, especially when it comes to things like selfies. His take on it is rather interesting, and his reflection on it was interesting, especially given that we now pursue reflections quite significantly in our practice. He details that one must look at reflection differently as opposed to using it as a cause for concern. He approaches the issue as one of balancing the probabilities and understanding the complexity of medicine. And with this approach, the errors that may occur are learning points in our practice, as opposed to areas of denial for one to be self-conceited with, which was rampant at the time. He also gives fair warning to his students around their intentions of practice. And I think this is quite important for us nowadays. One may pursue a profession for land and riches, regard our fellow man and patients as tools of the trade, and pursue our own self-interest, and make a sordid business out of the noble profession that we have been bequeathed. But to do so would be to trade away the most noble of ideals and relinquish our status as the friend of man. The profession indeed won't provide riches or rank, but can provide peace of mind. Hence one should strive with cheerfulness and courage in one's studies and practice.